Identifying your leadership theme is a very important part of the leadership process. John Wooden states that the most important leadership tool you have is your personal example. The Guardians truly believe that this quote helps express how important it is to be able to relate the different leadership themes to your personal situations. This will help you determine the theme that fits best for you and your personal beliefs. There are 4 different leadership themes that are available for individual leaders to select from in order to generate their personal leadership style. During this selection, it is important to incorporate your known personal traits and beliefs in order to select the appropriate theme. The 4 themes are executing, which focus on leaders being able to get things done no matter what it takes. Relationship building leaders, who focus on building the team chemistry and maintaining that chemistry throughout the time together. Influencing leaders, who help communicate what their team values and goals are as a team to different people in order to ensure that their team is well known. And strategic thinking leaders, who help keep the group focused on the task at hand and ensure that the best decisions are made for the team for future success.
My current role is an office manager at a primary care physician's family practice. Part of my job is to direct college students in assignments as well as complete my own daily tasks. Here in Huntsville, we have plenty of college students who come in and out of our office looking for part-time work during
Currently, I work as an IT procurement buyer at a major natural gas and pipeline company. My job requires the ability to express quality IT purchasing knowledge throughout the company in order to help the company as well as our department grow and succeed as a whole. Recently, we ran into a reorganization throughout the company that affected my department, and we were provided with new management as well as a new senior director. During that transition, our new manager and new director came from more of the piping purchasing side, so they lacked the knowledge of IT purchasing. And taking on that duty, we had to initiate a kind of a knowledge-based proposal in order to catch them up to speed as quick as possible while continue to do our current job duties. So in that situation, I went about creating an in-depth PowerPoint and how-to documentation that outlined our current purchasing process as well as what we planned on doing for the future in order to help us succeed even further. Some of the feedback that I received was utilizing the virtual meeting checklist, which did come in quite handy after I initiated my current process of assisting my manager and director, and analyze the step-by-step checklist to check prior to initiating that meeting and after as well as during. That helped kind of get my manager and director up to speed as best as possible while stay on top of our current tasks at hand. So throughout this process, I was able to learn how to deal with a steady changing environment, but at the same time remain on task with my current policies and procedures so that the company can still advance and not be held up by our current reorganization. So everything went smoothly throughout my solution, as well as initiating this additional feedback to my process. And I believe that workplace change is something that happens quite often with multiple leaders, and it's something that we can all revert back to in this virtual meeting checklist that will help us in our day-to-day leadership roles, or even as a team member and that you can assist towards your leader.
As a manager at a fast food restaurant, there are many distressing situations that constantly arise due to the chaotic nature of the quick service industry. Also associated with the fast food restaurants is a young generation of employees with their focus primarily being on their social lives. This is the main problem at Sonic Drive-In 5274, is this concept of cyberloafing. Cyberloafing reduces productivity by causing unneeded distractions to employees accomplishing their tasks. While some conscious employees are aware of appropriate times to check their personal devices, a large portion of individuals attempt to multitask. If an employee attempts to work on an assigned task while cyberloafing simultaneously, their quality of work is decreased. Mixed with the young generation of employees working their first part-time jobs is a group of loyal college students / adults working this as their full-time jobs. These adult workers have other important responsibilities to tend to. The problem is that many cyberloafers at Sonic Drive-In use their phones at wrong times, and some employees use it at right times. And you're faced with the question, how do you tell one group of people they aren't allowed to use their phone and one group of people that they aren't allowed? The proposed solution was to assign a specific amount of time in the workday for employees to use the internet on their personal tasks. During this time, they would be allowed to respond to messages, check their Facebook notifications, or even work on a school project, or check on their family, check on their kids' school, etc. This solution has proved to be effective. However, there are still some individuals who choose their time at work to cyberloaf instead of the assigned time. The Guardian's feedback was to enforce a strict policy about the use of cell phones with all employees. If the policy is not enforced with every employee at all times, it becomes more acceptable to break the rules. It might be helpful to take a situational approach to leadership and assess what level of development fellow employees are at. I believe this advice is great, and I'm implementing it into my company next week, and we'll see how it works. Thanks.
I'm currently working as a graduate assistant, and my responsibilities include grading, research, and office work like paper shredding and copying. Also included in my responsibilities is that I sometimes have to supervise students while they're taking exams or quizzes. Well, recently I was in a situation where I was proctoring an exam and I had to make a couple of authoritative decisions just because there happened to be an unexpected technical issue. The exam was actually an online exam, and normally I had only ever supervised paper exams, so I was a little unsure of some of the protocol. I was given instructions that I was supposed to give the password for the exam to the students and display a chart for them. Well, once the students started trying to open the exam on Blackboard, they realized that it wasn't able to be opened, so I had to get help pretty quickly and find someone with the technical expertise necessary to solve the problem. And I thought that would be the last problem, but after everything got solved on Blackboard, the students realized that they had missed out on about 15 minutes or so of their exam. So they started asking me what I would do if I was in their situation. And I had to think pretty quickly and tell them that I would just use the time that I had left for the exam because I didn't know that their professor would excuse them from not taking it. And eventually, the students just decided, every single one of them decided to just use the time they had left and take the exam. So for the technical issue, there was a known solution, and I just had to call someone who had the technical capabilities for that. But after that, I had to adapt to the situation, and I had to draw my own conclusions and be straightforward with them. So the feedback from the Guardians is that it's important to remain calm in a stressful situation, and after realizing that the situation is out of control, leaders must try to gain control by communicating their message in a clear way, which I think that in another situation like this, I could be more clear when I'm trying to communicate a message to my followers. So I will definitely use that advice in the future.
Identifying personal leadership themes is important to determining how successful a person is as a leader. By understanding your weaknesses and utilizing those strengths, it is easy to capitalize on when a problem arises. The Guardians have showed you multiple examples of our personal experiences that we are currently dealing with at work. We were able to give you solutions based on our leadership styles, whether that was executive, relationship building, strategic thinking, or influencing styles. We were also able to give each other feedback based on those different styles. It's important to have people within the workplace that can give you feedback based on, a problem you might be having that might help you solve that problem a little bit better than you might be able to on your own. Thanks for listening.